In this workflow video, we're going to explore spec'ing out a project in DesignerLogic. We'll first create the project and then we'll add items from several different methods. The first thing we want to do is create the project itself, so we click the New Project button in the home page. And this opens up the New Project form. Here we just fill out the basic project information. And it's always a good idea to use an image for the project, and we've created a folder for that project and we have the image there. And we're going to fill out the rest of this information. Now down here you can see that the billing address has formatted itself for the project name, but in this case we might want to put the customer's name and format it like this because this is what shows up on all the invoices and proposals. And this client might end up having more than just one project, so we want to put the name of the project after her name just to clarify exactly what it is. Then down here, after we have all that filled out, we want to choose where we want to go after we create the project. You can go directly to the project dashboard, or you can add a task, an event, or a comment, or directly add an item to it. But in this case, we're going to add an event right here, and so we hit submit. And this opens up the new event page for this project that we just made. Now what we're going to do is just put in an event for a meeting because we want to sign a contract for this project. We don't need to put a notification or a reminder, so we just hit save and close. And now you can see that takes us to the project dashboard for the project we just created. Now we don't have anything on this project yet except for this one event. You can see the items and work has no items on it yet. So let's add an item to this project. This is the beginning of spec'ing out the project. So we're going to manually add an item to this project. So we click the Edit Add button at the top, and you can do all these different things from that menu, but we're going to choose Item. And here we have the new item form that opens up, and we're going to just leave this unchecked. And we're going to choose all this other information here. Down here, we're going to add some financials in right now. And let's say this client only wants to spend $5,000 max for this cabinet. The retail price on this cabinet is $5,500, but you get a designer's discount of, let's say, 40% from that vendor. So we're going to use that discount, click this link right here, and it comes up with the actual cost for the item. We're going to mark it up 25%, and we get a price of $41.25. And that's actually well below the budget, so we can actually mark it up a little bit more. So let's try marking it up 40%, and we'll recalculate the price, and that comes in under budget. So we'll leave it at that, and then we'll say this price is finalized. We'll leave the purchase URL blank for now, and let's say we have an installation goal for this item. We'll put it at July 14th, since this is a new project. And we do want to track this item even if it's not on a purchase order because we do want to have it placed. And the lead time we'll leave blank. The picture, we're going to upload a picture of the item from our project folder. And then down here, we can add extra spec information. And down here we can add extra description for the client to see if we want to put this on a proposal or an invoice for the client. Down here we can add a separate shipping charge. So let's say we're going to have the vendor ship it and they're going to charge $200. And right here we're going to have it shipped directly to the client. So we want to choose this. Click Save Close. And now let's go to the items and work page for this project and see what we have. So now you can see we have this Laszlo cabinet. And if we hover over the little eye icon, we can see the extra information. We can see the contact information for the vendor. We have our pricing information right here. And the shipping charge is shown up as a component of this item right here. And so we can put this item on an invoice or proposal or purchase order already, or we can continue to spec out the project. So what we're going to do for this workflow video is add more items to this project and the different ways you can do that. And we're going to show you how that accrues as we do it. Okay, now we're going to add other items to this project in a few different ways. And to show you that, we're going to just open up a new tab in DesignerLogic and keep this project open so we can just refresh it as we go so you can see what it looks like. So on the new project page, or the new home page for DesignerLogic, which is just another tab, we're going to go to this specific project here, and we're going to copy some items from this project to that other project. Let's take a look at this chair, for example. This chair has a number of different items as components to it. And if we click on the details link for that chair and go to the chairs page and we click components, we can see that this chair has all these different components on it. Now to copy this chair to a new project, we can either do it this way on the details page and just choose the copy link right here. Or if we're just back on the item list, if you just want to be really fast about it, choose the main item and choose edit add, copy item. Then we want to copy it with all of the components. Choose the new project that we just made. We're going to put it in the living room. And we're just going to hit save close because we're just going to copy some more items. So hit submit. And what that did is copied all of these items right here, including their images, specs, pricing information, etc., to that new project we just made, where we can then edit it at will, and it will not affect these items at all. So let's go back to the main project we just made. We're going to refresh the page. And here you can see all of the items that we just copied. This reading chair is the main header. Now keep in mind that the images sometimes take up to 10 minutes to show up. So let's refresh the page again. And we see that all the images have shown up from the original items that we copied. Now once you have this copied to this new project, you copied all the specs and everything from the other project, so you might want to adjust those. So if you hit the edit add and click edit item, for each of these items you can then change the pricing information, the spec information, anything else you might want. If you want to change the color of the leather or something like that, just go to edit add, hit edit item. And that way you can make adjustments on this new project for this item. As well, this item now has its own detail page. And this has all the new items, detailed information, and you click on the components. And it has its own components list, which you can then edit really quickly from here. And we'll go back to the main item list. Now the next thing we'll do is we'll add some items, or one item actually, from the web clipper in DesignerLogic. And we'll use their sofa collection as an example, so we're just going to click into the collection and we're going to choose one of the sofas here. And so let's say we want to add this sofa into that project. So instead of retyping all this information or downloading the image and uploading it back to your account in DesignerLogic, you can just use the web clipper very quickly. And the web clipper has a little icon up here in the upper right of your browser, and it only works in Chrome and Microsoft Edge. And when we click on it, it's going to ask you to log in if you haven't logged in before. And we're just going to use this demo information. And here is the web clipper. It's basically a new item form, and it's going to ask you if you want to add this item as a project to a project, or add it to your favorites list, which is just sort of a list you can use for future projects, or both at the same time. So we're just going to add it to the project in this case. So we want to choose the project from our project list. We're not going to put it on proposal yet. We're going to put it in the living room as well. And the sales code, we're just going to choose furniture. This is from our sales code list in your account in DesignerLogic. And now we're going to put all this other information on this form right here. The first is the image. Now if you come over to the image and you right click on it, you're going to see a DesignerLogic Clipper menu, and we're going to choose Product Image. And you can see it copied the image over here. Now the next thing we want to do is copy this information to the clipper. So the clipper's in the way of a lot of this information. So we're going to minimize it, and then we're just going to highlight the information we want to copy. This is the basic description. So this is the product description. We're going to say we're going to use this price right here as your cost. And we're going to add this information right here to your notes. And let's say we have some dimensions here we want, and we'll use these right here. Highlight it, right click, and then we go to dimensions. Now the spec information, if it's detailed and it has bullet points and things like that, the best thing to do in that case is to highlight it. And in this particular case, right click, copy, and come down here, and you want to choose specifications, and then you want to basically just paste it in. And here you can see it preserved all the formatting. So we pasted just to preserve that formatting. And you can see here it copied the notes that we used. It copied the dimensions. We want to choose the supplier actually. So we go to Restoration Hardware. Now if the supplier is not in there yet in your account, you can hit New Supplier and you can just type it in or add it by highlighting it like we did before. And we want to add a markup. So let's say we're going to mark this up 30%. And that's all we need to do. And we come over, hit Add to DesignerLogic, and it basically copied all this information to your account. So if we go back to the account in DesignerLogic and we refresh the page, and we scroll down, we can see here we now have that sofa. And if you hover over the information icon, you can see the extra specs. You can see the contact information for Restoration Hardware. And here we've got our pricing and cost information, and you can edit this just like any other item. Now one thing that's nice using the web clipper, if you click on the details link for that item, and you go to that item detail page, here you'll see this item URL, and you can click on this item URL and it will take you right back to the page that you clicked, that you used the web clipper to pull it from. So let's go back to the project. We're going to close these extra tabs. So now we added an item manually. We copied it from another project, a built item with multiple components, and we also use the web clipper to pull something from the web. The next thing we'll do is we'll use the catalog to add some items to the project. So we're going to go to the catalog. Now the catalog is where you keep sort of a repository of your reusable items, things like hardware, fabric, tiles, and things like that. So let's say up here, we want to use this fabric on the sofa. So what we do is we just select that. And we're going to come up to copy to project. And we're going to select the project right here. And we're going to put it in the living room with the other projects. Click update. And that copies that fabric to that other project. And you can see it didn't change anything in the catalog. The catalog is not inventory. It's just basically an ordering catalog that you keep. Now let's go back to that project. So we'll go to Shortcuts. And we'll go to the item list. And if we scroll down, we can see here's that fabric just below the sofa. Now let's make sure that we have this fabric as a component of the sofa because we want it to be put together with the sofa. So to do that is very easy. If we just select it, come up to bulk actions, and here we can attach this item to that sofa, and we'll add that right here. And so what that's going to do is just attach that item to the sofa. So we click update. Now this fabric is part of the sofa, and if we click on the sofa's detail page and we click on components, we can see now that that fabric is part of that sofa. And you can keep adding different components to the sofa, for example, by coming up here and just clicking add a new component. And you can also do it here on the main item list, hit the edit add, and add a new component. Now the last thing we'll do is we'll put all of these items on a proposal. Since we spec'd out this project, we might want to put this on a proposal for the client. So there's a number of ways you can do this in DesignerLogic depending upon your own workflow. You can either click on this little plus sign for one of these items to start the new proposal and then put the main item on it and then add the other ones to it. Or you can come up to the top and hit the Edit Add button, and in that menu choose Proposal. And here it opens up the new proposal form. It's a very simple form to fill out. You can enter your own proposal number if you have your own numbering system, or DesignerLogic will do it for you. You just want to enter a proposal title. In this case, it's living room furniture. And if the address doesn't show up automatically in this box, check this box so the address shows up. The tax information carries over. We're going to calculate the deposit by the whole proposal, and we're going to include tax in that calculation. And we're going to want a 50% deposit. And we can fill out any notes and change the terms if you'd like. These terms come from the default settings in your account. Hit submit. And what that does is open the proposal with no items on it yet. So right now this header is just the proposal. There's nothing that's been put on it yet. So let's put all those items on it that we just made. So we hit new item. And let's choose number 2 as the option, add existing item. Here you'll see all the items on that project we just put on there. And we're going to select them all. Hit add selected items to proposal. Click update. it removed all those items from the list. Hit back to proposal, and now you can see the proposal has all of the items on it. Then we can hit the print option, and to look at a number of printouts, this is just one of the options. We have this kind of printout right here. It has all the information, and if you come up to your file print view, you'll see that it formats it for the page, and you have a nice printout that you can save as a PDF, or you can print it out. And once you have a proposal like this, you can also publish it to the client portal, so the client can actually just log in and approve these items and then pay for them. Now, if we refresh the main page for the project, you can see that now there's a number 1 in the proposal column for all of these items, and that's just telling you that each of these items that has a number 1 here is on proposal number 1. And if you click on any of the ones, it opens up that proposal. And that is how you spec out a project in DesignerLogic.